Hey, good evening, everyone. I have been having quite an interesting day, but I am actually just really glad that everything that's going on right now is still feeling very manageable. And yeah, with moving out and things, I did want to kind of do a little chat about this kind of area of my apartment I never really got to fully utilize. It was always a little bit too messy, and I just never had it quite clear. It's still little kind of boxes and things, but there's a desk back there. And I always just wanted this to be a sort of crafting studio space for myself. That I always had it, with these silver tubs, these gray tubs are full of craft supplies that never got onto that bookshelf. And now I'm having to pack it up anyways. So I'm hoping wherever I end up staying in the future, I'll have space to kind of be able to work because I have a lot of like paints and supplies and things to make various like art projects. So that's a big thing to me. That's like I've struggled having like the space and the time and all these other things for me to do the artwork that I want to be making. Um, and I think nothing displayed here is mine. I think some of these items are some artwork I'm holding on to for actually a queer creatives collectives group, and also this piece is another Chris Ryan piece. I really liked it, and I had a very specific plan for this sort of corner of how I wanted to decorate it, though. Another Chris Ryan piece up here, and I kind of wanted like it to be video game themed. I've got these little pieces up here from Target, and this poster from Rock Paper Cynic Peter Tchaikovsky, and then I was gonna try to like use the space to make like my own Legend of Zelda mural or collection of paintings, and I just never did. I did find some cute little other Target ones, but yeah, I never fully decorated this, and I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit tonight, as well as our Unis Honest video. But I just wanted to dive right into this because it's obviously right in the background. I I tend to try to talk about the Unis Honest video and then talk about my day, but since my days and kind of my mental space have been so personal right now, I kind of just want to get that going and get that out of the way. So what was I saying? Video game space, right. Little things. Yeah, I haven't really been able to really do that sort of work. But I kind of, so this is going to be really stupid, but when I saw this painting from my friend Chris Ryan, uh, he he was trying to get rid of actually a few of these. He was like liquidating his art because he was moving out of the state, like quite a few years ago. And me and my friend Quill bought a couple of pieces at an incredibly affordable rate, and I was like really happy to get some of these pieces. And I really always liked this one because it made me think of the the Mario Galaxy. I think it's Mario Galaxy 2. There's that like sort of odd creepypasta lore about the Hell Tree people or whatever they call it. Hell Sky people. It's something. If you look up Mario Galaxy figures in the background or spooky trees, hell trees, something like that, like you'll hear about it. You'll find it is an interesting little piece of lore. And so I always like was thinking like, okay, like kind of Mario stuff. So that's how my brain kind of did that. I like peppering in if I have like friends art or unique art. And if I happen to, find cute stuff at Target, I like to, I don't know, I try to like have themes that make sense in my head. And I think I just have that piece is like kind of always made me think kind of Legend of Zelda for some reason. Um, anyways, But yeah, this is just, yeah, creative space I never really got to fully utilize. I think I tried to, but I ended up just, if I was doing any artwork, I would do it on my coffee table while I was here, and or just literally on the ground, like where I'm sitting, basically. Um, so this is just kind of like a little bittersweet because I kind of theoretically had the space to do more artwork and I never did. And I think just everything from last year kind of got me down. And it's something I'm gonna kind of just like think about. I'm not a person to ever have regrets. I'm very grateful for all of the rest I got last year. But I would I have liked to use that time to have made some artwork that I had kind of, vaguely conceptualized but not, perfectly planned. Yes, I would have loved to have done that. Um, but yeah, so it's kind of nice packing everything up though, and kind of retouching on all the ideas I've had. So I did want to just talk about our wonderful Unis Honest video though. I did want to talk the boys a year ago. They did a video called Turning Mark into an E-boy. And I this video, it was like kind of goofy and like I mean, God, weren't they all right? But I really liked it. I really appreciated it. I didn't know what e-boys were, and it's so funny because like ever since like well, having watched the video, now I notice it all the time that people talk about e-boys or e-girls and all that stuff on like memes and that. It's just kind of like yeah, like a look or an aesthetic or like a vibe. I think Ethan described it perfectly. I think he picked some perfect, like, I guess Instagram or TikTok artists that are like e-boys of that, like, kind of like, like a young heartthrob style, like, kind of like, somebody that's like trying to be punk rock, but is also like in a boy band's kind of vibe of like, like they, just like that kind of what I like to call it seems to appeal to this feeling that I always kind of have labeled as emotional porn, like which makes me think of like there was a show that I got to see live, and I think there's also a movie called like Bridges of Madison County or something. And that to me is like kind of, it's more for an older generation, but it's that feeling of like, oh, like, kind of like that like daydream and like, oh, what if, and like all that sort of thing. But for younger girls, so this is what e-boys seem to be geared towards. So the things I kind of just like wrote down was so like one thing that Ethan did really well, like not only just nailing and knowing the style, like the whole like having the hair parted down the middle. Now anytime if I shower and like my hair sometimes will part down the middle, I'm like, oh man, I'm such an e-boy. But it looks really bad when it's dry, but when it's wet, sometimes I'm like, oh wow, I'm like e-boy over here. But like Ethan, one thing he really nailed was he was talking about the laugh, and like Ethan, there was one moment that Ethan just totally nailed that laugh, and it made me feel a certain way. Okay, like I'm gonna be real here. It was just really funny that like he described it so perfectly. He's like, it's like kind of like, oh, I could just like break your heart, but like, I won't. And like the way that Ethan and like he did like some, and I was like, oh, Eve, okay, all right, what was that? So that was really good. He described it really well, and like also the aesthetic pieces, like the I guess the sleeves have to be like striped, and you wear like a patterned shirt over that, and like all the things, and like Mark had to shave his like beard or whatever he had going on, so that was always interesting because then after this episode of Unis Honest, you could see Mark babyface, clean shaven, and it was just kind of funny. But hey, good on Mark for like just owning it and going with it, and like not being afraid to change like his kind of look or brand for a video. Like that's awesome because like for me, like if I was, if somebody like was like, oh, we're gonna turn you to this and we're gonna like cut part of your hair or change your appearance in a fairly permanent way that you'll have to, grow your hair back out or something of that nature. Like, better be some good views on it. Like, yeah, like it. So I think that's really cool. And also I just wanted to like mention the oranges. That seemed like it was like a continuing thing on Unisonis after this video. It seemed like kind of a callback anytime they would talk about oranges, because they did a little like music video basically with Mark at the end, uh, where God, Mark just like doesn't like he more like struck me as like kind of like aspiring K-pop star, like just with like kind of it made me think of like kind of the awkward goofiness of that one video that was like super viral a while ago, like Gangnam Style or whatever. Something about, because it was like it was not quite like the way that Mark was acting as a e-boy was like not quite like sexy or cool, but it was like still very charming and still Mark's just an attractive fellow, okay? Like, so like I just thought that was really cool that that he went for that, and they just the sort of vibe didn't really strike me as e-boy. Yeah, I think like it's interesting seeing the comments about like really discovering that Ethan was the e-boy all along or whatever. Like Mark is, people saying like, oh, Mark is too. I think yeah, like. Not to be ageist or anything, but like he's kind of like he's a little older, and he just I'm trying to think like maybe it's just like his body type, like he's just he a beefy himbo, like that e-boy kind of has that more like yeah, I don't know, like a thinner vibe, I guess, too. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but it was an interesting experiment anyways. And I thought it was really funny at the end where for whatever reason Mark was like kind of acting sort of like seductively towards some oranges on his orange trees, and they were playing music over it, and it was beautiful to watch. Oh my God, what a piece of cinematography from the Unis Annus archives and lore that we now have lost. But like, God, like the oranges. So yeah, sometimes whenever I eat oranges, I think of Mark being an A-boy. And the sunglasses. I think the sunglasses were really like, they were like those small round ones. Something about them. It's just like really kind of goofy, artsy. Don't know if I would call it e-boy, but again, like I don't know if I really know the meaning of what an e-boy is. Ethan seems to know. Ethan seems to know a little too well what exactly an e-boy is. Anyways, I got other stuff to do, and I just got up from like a nap, and I just wanted to film from this kind of corner of my life because I never really got to. I never got to fully utilize this space as I would have liked. There's still a lot of half-finished ideas kind of in this small space, and I'm trying to think about how I'm gonna, keep using it going forward, or hopefully get more things done this year. I would love that, and it's definitely not harks, but I'm sorry, guys. Like my brain's done. But it definitely it makes me think of the whole idea of also like this project that I'm, what are you waiting for? Like what are the excuses you make for yourself? What can you work on every day? Like this whole idea of like kind of an extension of Unus Annus of like, like why do we wait on things? The clock is always ticking, so why don't we just try to do things whenever we can? And I guess, there's just so much that goes on. So with me lately, it's not so much that I'm trying to put anything off. It's just literally that I am doing so much other stuff all the time. It's just kind of hard to keep up. But I am gonna get back to trying to focus on really real stuff and not just talking to a fun little screen. But I'll see you guys in the next video.